Well, we are here this morning. I don't know how many people woke up this morning hungry. Anybody wake up hungry this morning? Always. All right, Red. Does anyone wake up thirsty? Yeah, I wake up thirsty like 4 times in the middle of the night. I have to have something to drink. I don't know what it is. You know, being hungry and being thirsty, sometimes we think we know exactly what that means. But can I tell you that we that live in America, it's very few of us that have actually experienced true hunger and true thirst. It's an interesting thing in our country that we have millions of tons of food that is wasted, just thrown away. And a lot of it has to do with I'll just say it, with the FDA and these dates that they put on it. You know, there was a time, and Sherry won't mind me telling you this, but when she was over in Samoa, and she maybe not her, but her family, especially her brother, would, pick out bugs out of the bread, cut off the mold of cheese or bread, and it would still be good. There were no dates. It was just, did it taste okay? Or did it crawl away? It was one of the two. And if it passed both of those, you had a good food. Today we have expiration dates on pretty much everything, and it gets thrown away, and it's still good. A lot of them we don't understand what they're saying. Best used by, or best. I can't remember what the other one is. Best used by, or the other one, which you'll figure out on your own, not by me this morning. But they have all these different confusing language, and they put dates on there, and it gets thrown away. And so here in America, can I tell you that I don't truly think that we understand what it's like to live in some of these third world countries where they may get a cup of rice a day. There are people that don't eat for days. Water is a precious commodity. We have places that their wells are dug and they have to walk for hours just to fill up their containers. We really have no idea what it means to thirst or hunger about those different things. But I do believe we understand what hungering and thirsting means, because it's not always about food or liquids. See, this morning, we're in the Beatitude that says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied." So can you say that one with me? Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. I wonder, what is the thing that we hunger and thirst for the most? We can look at our lives, and if you show me how you spend your time every day. If you show me, you can almost show me, it used to be your checkbook, but now it's show me your debit statement. Whatever it is, however you spend your money, I can tell you what you hunger and what you thirst after. You say, well, I buy a lot of groceries. Okay. Maybe it is food that you hunger after most. There's a lot of people that I think they said that 20 or 25% of Americans on diets feel like they're starving. But they're usually the ones that are on diets are the ones looking at them, they are not starving. Right? We don't understand what it means. But what happens is our desires overcome us. That word to hunger or thirst even, the hunger is, it's a hurt, isn't it? When you're hungry, you hurt to eat something. It's really a strong desire The Greek word, it also means a strong desire when it talks about hungering and thirsting. So my question this morning is, what is it that you have a strong desire for? Is it righteousness? Is it righteousness that drives you, that has you searching for something, that has you doing in your life, doing for others, doing for Christ? Is it righteousness? Well, what's righteousness? You know, there's different parts of righteousness. There's the righteousness that God has impugned upon us when we believe in Jesus Christ. But this righteousness is doing what is right. It is the goodness. And so when we look at the Beatitudes, can I tell you that it is a life of goodness? Now, there's a difference between having a life of goodness and doing good. Because we should be doing good. But the goodness of God is the righteousness of God. It is what is right in God's eyes. That is the righteousness that Jesus is talking to us about this morning. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after what is right in God's eyes. Because we have a world that will try to confuse you and tell you what is right today, and it is not right. There are some good things that happen in our world, but they're not always right. Because apart from God, it cannot be righteous. Can I tell you that? Apart from God, it is not righteous. It can be good, but it's not righteous. We have a subject in our world today called equity. We want everyone to have equity. And it sounds good, doesn't it? We want everyone to have the same amount as everybody else has. You know, those that are making a lot, well, they should be able to, we should be able to take from them and give to those that aren't making a lot. And everybody kind of get to the same level. And so if that means we have to pull some people down in order to pull some people up, well, that's a good thing. And the way that they speak about it, it sounds good. But you see, it's not biblical at all. That's not righteous. See, if we talked about one of the parables a while back, the parable of the talents. And what we saw is that the one that had one talent, who did nothing with it, God didn't say to the one that had 3 talents and did everything and said, great. He didn't say, now take one of those and give to that one that didn't do anything with it. You see, what God said is like, you lazy and wicked servant. Now let me take that one that you had and I'm going to give it to the one that already has more. We're flipping things around in the world again, aren't we? And that's what the Sermon on the Mount does. It is backwards. We want to take from those that are doing great things and give to those that are not doing things. And it is against biblical teaching. So, what do we do with these things that the world says is righteous and that they're good? Is it good to help people that are struggling? Absolutely. But at the expense of others, maybe not. You see, the church a long time ago gave up a little bit of its moral authority when they handed over this to the government. The church was called to take care of the widows and the orphans and those that are oppressed. And what happened is when the government said, hey, we're going to start doing it, the church said, well, great, you do that, and then we'll just worry about having our little social clubs inside of our 4 walls. There's nothing righteous about that. As the church, we need to be hungering and thirsting for righteousness. It is our job to do what is right. It is our job to go out and help the oppressed and the widows and the orphans. But let's be careful on who we call the oppressed. another word that has been hijacked in our world today. I'm going to stay out of that one. Sorry. But it has been. We have words that the world has taken that have been good words and holy words and things that we need to apply in our lives. And what happens is what was once righteous, because we stopped hungering and thirsting after the righteousness of God and we decided to let others take care of it, we have left a void. And what has happened? It says at the end of that, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Can I tell you, I see so many in the church that are not satisfied because they are hungering and thirsting after things that are not righteous. What is it that you hunger and thirst after? Should be the goodness of God. As I think about this passage, I think about in Psalms, in the psalmist, in Psalms 42, he said this, he said, as a deer pants for flowing streams, so pants my soul for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. And he goes in Psalm 63 and it says, O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you, as in a dry and weary land where there is no water. You see, what are we seeking? That is what he's talking about when he says, blessed are those who thirst and hunger. What are the things that you are seeking? What are the things that are driving your hunger today? For many, it is approval of man. Our social media has changed everything. The internet changed everything. The 90s were kind of moving at a good clip, but man, when the internet kicked into gear, it was another thing. Even if you were using AOL in 1997 and you had to listen to the connecting and it took you 17 minutes to connect, it was still faster than you had ever connected with someone across the world before then. And now, what was it, 2007, I believe it was, when the iPhone came out? Now it's even quicker. Everything we have is in the palm of our hand. You want to know something, just ask your phone. And now we have AI, this artificial intelligence, and I tell you what, it does amazing things. And there's some good things about AI, things that help you and can do some pretty cool things. But then there's AI that they're trying to change into being almost godlike and connecting to your mind to a computer and trying to do things that are called a god. See, there's two different parts of AI, and we need to understand those. And one day I may actually go into that, but not today. What I want you to know is that we hunger and thirst after more and more and more when we're discontent. You see, have you ever eaten a great meal and you're just sit back? This is usually Thanksgiving every year for me. You know, I wanted to build a table that actually had hydraulics and the seats reclined. That way, you know, because Thanksgiving Day you eat and you go back during the day and you go back and eat. I mean, you go back all day long and eat, right? Well, if you just had a table that went up and you could recline and take that turkey nap and then come back down and start eating again, you wouldn't have to get up and go back and forth and waste all that energy, right? Because man, after I have that meal, I am so full. I am truly satisfied. But the thing of all that is that it disappears, doesn't it? It goes away. And what Jesus said is this. He said in John 6:35, he said, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger. And whoever believes in me shall never thirst. Now, you say, well, I believe in God, but I still feel like I need more spiritually. Can I tell you that's a different type of thirst, because he has quenched your thirst, that your sinful nature. When you give your life to him, you see, when you're away from him, you are trying to fill this hole with other things, and they never satisfy you. You go to something different, and you go to something different. You know, it's you go to a buffet, and there's a buffet of food there, and you're like, well, that one looks good. And you get back to your table, and you eat it, and it's like, wow, that was not nearly as good as it looked. And so you go back, and you know, say, I'm going to get the nachos this time. And you get nachos, like, yeah, that wasn't really that good. So now you go back, and you get some Chinese food, and it's like, I really wasn't on Chinese today either. That wasn't that good. You just go back, and you keep trying, and you're trying to fill yourself, and you're trying to meet that hunger that you have. But you see, the bread of life, Jesus Christ, once you eat it, it's like, wow, this is so awesome. This is exactly what I needed. But it doesn't mean that you just have to take one bite and you're good. What it means is that you have found the perfect food. And it's the only thing that you need each and every day. You see, it is Jesus that satisfies us. It is his love and his mercy and his grace that brings satisfaction. We have these different things that happen in our life, and it comes up, and the enemy wants to say, hey, you remember that? And you just say, take a bite of Jesus and say, I'm good. He forgave me. It's in the past. It doesn't have any control over me. And I am satisfied with the grace and mercy that Jesus Christ has in my heart and soul today. You see, that's the difference between what the world wants to sell you. You know, we have drugs and alcohol, pornography, shopping. We have all kinds of different things in our lives, TV, movies. We can fill our time every day with everything except God's Word. And the crazy thing about it is that after you try to fill yourself with all those things, you're still trying to find something else to do. I can't tell you, the most satisfying parts of my day is when I'm on my back porch and I'm reading God's Word and his presence is with me. And it doesn't matter what happens around me, because I am satisfied within God's Word. The psalmist, we mentioned Psalm 63, and we read the first couple of verses. But verse 5, the psalmist says, my soul will be satisfied as with fat and rich food, and my mouth will praise you with joyful lips. See, when we seek God, when we're doing all that we can because he is our desire, it's him that we hunger for, it's him that we thirst for. He meets that need unlike anything else in this world. And it is then that we are satisfied. Some of the scriptures say that you are filled. And I can't help but think of when he says that he fills our cup to overflowing. When we have the Spirit of God, and we're following Christ, and we're seeking him with all that we are, can I tell you that he doesn't run and hide from us? God does not play hide and seek with us. God makes himself known when we seek him with all that we are. Blessed are those that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. This morning we're going to do a little bit different. had to have a change in our service, but we're going to move forward in this manner. I think many people here have experienced a drought in their life, right? Where you have been so thirsty for God, and you've like, God, where are you? And he's been there all along. And think about when the Israelites are going through the wilderness and they're thirsty, but God was always providing. He would even allow Moses to strike a rock and water just come up out of a rock. The same thing happens in our lives. We can be in these droughts where it just seems like, man, everything that can happen wrong happens wrong. But God sustains us through there, and then all of a sudden, we hit that rock. And sometimes we think we're hitting a rock and it's not going to be a good thing, but we hit that rock and trusting God, and then the river of blessings, of abundance begins to flow in our life. How long, we don't know, but we understand that God is in control and that he is meeting our needs. And through it all, we're satisfied. We're content. God gives us everything that we need. What happens is when we start looking for something more than we need that the world says you should have. But God meets our needs. This morning, I'm going to ask the worship team to come forward. Because here in a little bit, we're going to sing a song. And after we sing this song, I want you to think about how God has filled you. How has God met your need because you have been hungering and thirsting to do what is right in God's eyes? And I just want to have a few testimonies this morning. I was going back and forth. It's like, okay, so God, I have my full sermon here, and then there's the short one, and so God, you just lead it. And we're here. I believe God has some wonderful stories that he wants to speak through some of your lives this morning to encourage others to hunger and thirst after righteousness, because you will be satisfied. So if you will, for those that can, let's stand and we're going to worship in this song because he is worthy of all of our praise. And when we're done, we're going to grab a mic and we're going to share it with those that would say, because I have hungered and thirst for God, he has satisfied me in this way.